Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Football Chatbox. My name is Ryan, and welcome to the podcast Game Week 2 episode. Why does this say preseason? Oh man, did I not change that? Okay, I need to fix that in the post podcast. That's my bad.
It
Game
feels
Week.
like preseason.
I know exactly. Game Week 2
Uh,
podcast episode number 92. Triple Captain Haaland. And I'm joined by my co-host Karan, because the question mark has
everyone.
been raised by you, because you've got sneak potential discussion about that, but we'll talk about it soon. How are you been, Karan? How's the preseason and holidays been treating
Yeah,
you?
good. Good. I think it's just the right amount of time away from the game for me.
Yeah,
I was really excited to play it after. I wasn't sick of it last season, but it was like it was a lot, you know. Like I was, yeah, you know how it is. You're
yeah.
really into it.
I mean, but I felt like there wasn't, for me at least, there wasn't too much of a gap because like went from season ending to Euro fantasy and Euros in general, and then
Uh,
straight into
luck-
preseason.
luckily, luckily, I don't like international football.
Fair enough. Fair
Uh,
enough. So
so yeah,
you didn't fall into any of that. But
not really.
we're here to talk about Game Week 2. But starting with, what did you think about Game Week 1, first of all?
Yeah, really interesting. I guess nothing we nothing that was that surprising, right? Like the good teams are good
Yes.
and the bad teams are bad.
Yeah, fair enough.
Um, yeah, I mean we'll discuss some of the finer points, but I can't say I was surprised by anything massively. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Oh yeah, except maybe Man United, but we can talk about that.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
We got like pass maps and everything for this podcast. I think going forward we'll probably use this as well, something slightly differently compared to the other podcast out there. But don't worry, for people who are listening in the audio as well, we'll try and explain it as much as we can. But I think if you're watching this on Spotify, etc., I usually upload the video file anyways, so you can obviously pause it and check the video file. I have, in that short space of time, quickly done a post edit to get it, change the thumbnail out there.
No, nice. That was very slick, very
Yeah,
quick.
so we've done that. We'll get back into it. Starting with, obviously, the season ticker. And obviously, shout out to everyone in the chat as well. Welcome, welcome. So season ticker, we've got, this is the next 8 game weeks. Aston Villa are right on top there. Obviously, a tough game against Arsenal, but then their fixture run turns really good after that. The only thing I would probably mention as a differential is the fact that they'll be playing in Europe. And this time, Europe starts pretty early after the international break kicks in, which is just after Game Week 3. So Game Week 4 onwards. So that might be a slight issue, obviously, in terms of rotation and whatnot. Then after that, you got
And
Everton.
and is that
Yes, go ahead.
and is that the same for the other European competitions?
Ooh, I think a lot of, like, even Europa League, I think the format has changed. But I think everyone starts like after Game Week 4. So everyone will
Yep.
start early, and obviously different format. But the thing is with Aston Villa, because they're like, you know how like Newcastle, when they went into the Champions League, they kind of suffered with that and injuries and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So we need to
yeah.
kind of keep an eye out for that with regards to Aston Villa as well. The only thing I would say is obviously Unai Emery, significantly better manager, has tons of European pedigree, so could be a slightly different way to approach Champions League football for him as well. But just wanted to mention. And then obviously Everton there, Ipswich third on that list as well, Fulham, Chelsea, Forest, City. Then at the bottom we got Bournemouth, Brentford, Brighton, Wolves, Arsenal at the bottom. But even though they have tough fixtures, they're still an elite team, to be honest. But yeah, we'll go through each of the fixtures throughout. Anything to say with regards to the season ticker?
I mean, I think Villa, look at that stretch that Villa have, right?
Yeah,
That's
pretty good.
is this sorted by difficulty?
Yes, that's sort of by
Yeah,
difficulty.
okay. Right, yeah. Yeah, but at the same time, Villa don't really have the type of squad a typical top four team does.
No, that's the thing.
And you know, they may prioritize Champions League higher than a
Yeah,
team that's used to being in it every year.
yeah, true, true,
So
true.
I think, yeah, I think that's going to be real tricky.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
Like Watkins, for example, he still doesn't really look match fit. I'm sure you've noticed.
He didn't have a preseason per se. So he hadn't
Yeah.
played a single minute of preseason. So the game he played in Game Week 1 was effectively preseason for him.
I mean, he played he played quite a bit with England, right?
Oh yeah, true. But like with Villa, he
Yeah.
hadn't had a single preseason minute.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
So I expect him to be slightly eased in a bit. But obviously, when it comes to Game Week 3, a lot of people will be looking at Watkins, right, in that time
Yeah.
period. So we need to kind of see how they rotate with Champions League as well in terms of that.
Yeah.
But
Everton.
yeah.
Yeah, I find myself with Pickford again. I swore not to get him after getting him at the start of last season.
I mean, don't worry. In a
But
couple of weeks, he might not keep any clean sheets, but then after that, he'll start being the highest point scorer in terms of goalkeepers. So it'll be typical.
That's all,
It'll be typical Pickford. But Dyche is a good manager, right? In terms of defensive clean sheets, he'll eventually get it working.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Ipswich and teams like Ipswich and Fulham being high, that's kind of interesting, right? Like strategy wise.
It is.
Like I think it's always interesting in the game when you're forced to pick non-big team players.
And I feel a lot of people have Fulham upcoming. And
Yep.
we'll talk about them as well when we get to their fixture as well. But yeah,
I think that's a real it's a real place where you can see the player base getting better at playing the game.
Yes.
This year, right? Like I think like 4 or 5 years ago, nobody would have Fulham.
No, probably
like it'd
not.
just be the really engaged analytics managers that
all Fulham fans.
You know?
I don't know if Combe is in the chat. He's a Fulham fan, but yeah.
But now like Robinson and stuff is such a template pick.
Yeah.
Like,
true. Even the models are suggesting Robinson, and also here we are. Caught up. So let me get to the. Oops. Why did I not sort this correctly? I think I didn't sort this correctly. The predicted goals. So back again. Quick editing.
oh, yeah.
So this is the Game Week 2 predicted goals from Rob T FPL. Brighton, United, Crystal Palace, West Ham, Fulham, Leicester, City, Ipswich. So basically all the teams up there. City having the highest expected goals and clean sheet predictions. Liverpool with the second highest. Spurs up there in third. Chelsea, interestingly, with the fourth highest expected goals. Well, we will see. Depends on how they actually perform. Before we get in depth into the teams and the fixtures, any early thoughts on this?
3.3 is a really big number.
Yes.
I think we should really stress how big a number that is.
Yeah.
Like for that to be the average of all the times they simulated this, which is I assume how they did this. That's
probably market odds, right?
Really quite a big number. And what that would mean, and I'm just guessing here, is that 5-0, 6-0 is not
out of the picture.
It's not even that. It's probably not even that unlikely. It's probably. I wouldn't be surprised if that's like a 10, 15, 20% outcome. That's.
It is possible. It's not out of the picture. Definitely not out of the picture. And like a Haaland hat-trick is also definitely not out of the picture. So
and Liverpool too. 2.95. That's really high.
Yes.
I'm a bit like, I mean, Brentford had a lot of injuries defensively last year.
Yeah.
Right. I can't remember off the top of my head who, but I think Ayer was out for ages. Then Pinnock was out. Right.
Yeah,
and
they did.
Rico Henry was out for ages, and now they've got pretty much like a full strength defense. Like everyone's
most
back.
of them. Yeah, I think so. I think they're pretty strong now compared to what they were last time. So we'll have to see. The only thing is, it's Liverpool at home, which is why it's probably slightly more higher than what it would have been if it was a away fixture for them. But the flip side to that is it's Slot's first game at Anfield. So
I think Slot looks really good, to be honest.
Oh, we'll have to wait and see. Maybe.
I mean, obviously, it's as much as you can say of one game.
Yeah.
I really liked his in-game decisions. They still seem very attacking, but you can sort of see how he set the team up to control the game quite a bit. He unfortunately for the rest of the league looks like a pretty good coach.
Yep. So we'll see how they carry on for the next couple, because a lot of people have Liverpool players. But let's start. Where do we start? We start with Brighton United, or do we start?
Well, you tell me. What did you think of United?
Okay, so from United perspective, I thought we were okay. I thought later into the second half, we got a bit into like that basketball type back and forth, which isn't really what Ten Hag is probably trying to do, maybe. Not really sure. I think defensively we did improve. Attacking wise, we're still missing that when we didn't have Xerxes on, that target figure, because when Bruno plays false nine, he likes to move about as well in terms of trying to get the ball, pick up the ball and create something. And then that leaves that space in the center just vacant. But when you saw Xerxes come on there, and then when the cross was made by Garnacho, he was there to put it in the back of the net. So we're missing that target striker. Now, I don't know whether Bruno will play false nine again and or whether Xerxes will start. Not really sure. We'll have to wait and see. But I think it was a more somewhat improved performance from defensive point of view. Attacking, I think, can improve a bit more. Defensively, I think you saw with Martinez back. Mazraoui was actually pretty good. I was quite impressed with his performance. But I still think Dalot is the more attacking out of the two fullbacks. And then we'll have to see whether it's Maguire going to be starting or Delete will get into the team or not. And then obviously there's still the rumors of Ugarte, which is getting closer and closer. And I think if we can get that sign in as well, then defensively it bolsters the squad quite a bit more.
Cool. Yeah, I think I echo most of your thoughts. I thought Mazraoui was my man of the match. I thought he's really, really good on the ball, and he's very composed against the press. I think he's just the nailed-on starter, to be honest. I think he completely elevates not just the defense but the midfield as well. So for anyone that didn't catch the game, the way he played was completely as an inside. I would say he was basically a defensive midfielder in position, and he covered the fullback position out when we didn't have the ball.
Yep.
But he very much played as a second defensive midfielder for me.
He comes from obviously the Ajax system, so ball playing ability is significantly better.
He's so good under pressure.
Yeah.
Like every touch was, he'd take it away from the person and thread a pass. Like he's basically the exact composure that we have needed for a while. Then I thought in the first half we created quite a lot. I captained Bruno, so that was, and we could create quite a lot. I didn't think Bruno had a really bad finishing day. And I agree with you. When Xerxes came on, we had an outlet. We were able to progress the ball in a good way, but then we also didn't have control, because I think when Bruno plays in the middle too much, we tend to lose control. He just yeets the ball forward when he gets it, and then
he tries to create
and then runs.
Yeah,
and then I'm not criticizing him. I think he's a great player, but and then he runs out of position to go get the ball back, and then leaves a hole there. So
I've got the pass map of the United versus Fulham one, and this is from Marcus Stats. But if anyone hasn't seen him on Twitter. And basically the pass map, this is basically United's and Fulham's pass maps, and these are basically, I should caveat with, up to their first substitution of each team's. So obviously United's first substitution was Ahmad, so at the 62nd minute, so the pass map is only until the 62nd minute. Same thing with Fulham, I think that was with Smith-Rowe until the 65th. So as you can see with United's one, Bruno slightly the furthest forward with Rashford next to him, but very involved on that left-hand side, with Dalot also further advanced out of the two fullbacks.
This is already a much more cohesive than any of our maps from last season. All our pass maps from last season were back four, midfielders dotted all over the place, and then one forward.
Just on their own.
Haaland by himself.
This is a bit more.
This is so much more cohesive.
You can see more like triangles and boxes that are forming.
Exactly.
So this is significantly better, like structure and position, obviously. I guess the whole reason we're showing these pass maps is to kind of see what we can take away from it. In terms of FPL, like see where players are structured, who's getting the ball mostly. In terms of Ahmad versus Garnacho, what do you think?
Yeah, so I almost punted on Ahmad.
Yeah.
I thought he was like a decent eighth attacker or whatever. In the end, I'm glad I did it because he didn't play terribly, but he looked electric in preseason.
Yes.
Like I think in preseason he was probably easily our best player
Yeah.
and changed the game multiple times. But while he didn't play badly, like I just think maybe he's not ready. I don't know.
I echo, like I don't think so. The Fulham game, the first half he was good, better than Rashford. Second half he kind of faded out, and then obviously got subbed. And Garnacho obviously came on and was just Garnacho just loves to take on players. So he's just electric. I do still think he will start the second game, Ahmad. And then after that, it's a bit harder to tell. Like the more minutes Garnacho keeps getting, it's going to become harder for Ahmad, unless he puts in like really good performances that makes it harder to drop.
I don't know what is the best comparison for Ahmad, but like someone the other day said that he plays a bit like a Bernardo Silva.
Fair enough. Yeah.
When Pep plays Bernardo Silva on the right wing, I thought that was an okay comparison. And that's obviously a very different profile to Garnacho, who is, like a forward that plays on the wing.
Yeah.
I think if we're gonna play Xerxes up front next game, which I actually think we will, then I think Garnacho will probably start.
Fair enough. From a Fulham point of view, now Smith Rowe was a huge talking point, right? Before preseason, like he scored 2 goals.
Yeah.
From this pass map, for those listening on audio,
where is he?
Smith Rowe is number 32.
Right.
Which is where everyone's like, you can see the ball being passed to him quite a lot. But he's slightly
he's
more.
He's a defensive midfielder.
Yeah, so he's slightly more behind compared to number 18 in this pass map, which is Andres Pereira on the right hand side, slightly more advanced in this case. Do we?
Yeah.
Now,
so I mean, it's sorry, you go.
So both at the same price point, but Pereira takes all the set pieces and potentially on penalties.
Yeah, so I mean, I think obviously Smith Rowe was probably a little bit overrated and Andreas was underrated, right?
Yeah.
I do think like against teams where they'll dominate the ball, it'll be a different story. But against United, Smith Rowe was dropping pretty deep to pick up the ball and help progress the ball. I think the way he likes to play is he comes deep, picks up the ball, combines, like drifts wide, combines with a winger. And then at the end of the move, he'll sort of ghost into the box and look for a shot-taking opportunity. Like that's my understanding of how he plays.
And
I don't think when you don't have the ball much, I don't think you'll get a chance for those moves to come to fruition and for him to find himself in the box.
Yeah, because that kind of shows like with this pass map, you can see he's the one who's received the most out of him and Andres Pereira because the white lines are more highlighted. Now, obviously, Fulham have just made their sign-in for Anderson. And that is almost all but confirmed, I think, at this point. So I don't know whether he'll be fit just yet to start game week 2, Anderson, for Fulham. I'm not sure if the paperwork will get ready in time and all of that. That's a bit different story. We'll have to wait and see on that. But I'm assuming he'll come in and replace Bassey, who has, as you can see, that's where Smith Rowe is like picking the ball up from, probably.
I think he'll replace Diop.
Oh.
To be honest. Yeah, I think Bassey like he's obviously a slop, like has a mistake or two in him.
Yeah.
But like he's a bit of he seems like a physical beast. I don't think he's gonna get dropped.
Okay, so we'll have to see what happens there because I think Anderson.
Everyone seems convinced that Bassey's going to be the one that gives away. I'm not
just because I feel like he has a mistake in him. That's probably
because he made a terrible mistake in the game. Remember where he tried to clear it and then just punted it straight into the air? Yeah.
Yep, exactly. But that signing definitely does improve Robinson.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and Anderson used to play for Fulham, so he's going to come straight in. Right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so going forward, back to the
Oh,
whole.
actually, one more thing.
Yes.
Muniz is a player a lot of people have. What
Yeah.
did you think of Muniz?
He had a couple chances, I would say. Obviously, against United, supply that you can see from this pass map, he hasn't got as much supply as he would have wanted. But the next game is Leicester, and I think he'll get way more chances. So I still think he'll come good. For that like 6 million price bracket, still think he's a really good option. So I'm happy to keep him. If you have Muniz, I would start him this week against Leicester.
Yep.
Okay, so from the United Brighton game, what do you think? We'll look into Brighton as well, but yeah.
I mean, United defense looks way better. The midfield looks more controlled.
Yeah.
But it's away from home, and Brighton they had an insane preseason actually.
Yeah.
They didn't just have a good preseason; they had like one of the best attacking preseasons you've seen in a while. I know it's only preseason, but they were scoring so many goals.
Yeah.
And I think Minte is fine, right? He's
So I think that's a concussion protocol. Now I'm not sure the exact number of days because there were rumors about like 12 days or something for concussion. So I'm not sure if he'll be ready for game week 2. And obviously Adingra did well as well. So that I think you might have to monitor and see. I'm not really sure what we'll have to see what the manager says in the press conference. I'm not sure the exact concussion protocol in terms of number of days that he has to be set aside before coming back to training and match and everything. Yeah. But if you have Minte, I probably might still keep him and see. Like game week 2, you might miss out potentially, but then game week 3, he might most likely be back.
Yeah, I mean, I think Brighton are probably favorites. Yeah.
For this game.
And that's what the predicted score says,
Yeah,
right?
it's a very close one. Let's go to Brighton's pass map actually.
This was going to be a very interesting game.
Yeah, indeed.
So if United's defense, they don't have to keep a clean sheet, but if they stop them from scoring more than one, I think that's proof that the defense is improved.
So this is Brighton's pass map. Now, obviously, Barco, who was well touted before.
FPL Freddy says Minta's fine. The presser has already been.
Oh, okay. So then he should be okay for game week 2. So this is Brighton's pass map. Obviously, Minte is number 17 on the right. Not many passes, I guess, to their forward, like their wide players. But I should add context. This is just their first sub was made like at half time. So second half, basically, of the pass network is not there, effectively. So this is just purely first half. I think there will be chances for both sides in this game. Attacking wise, I think for both teams, attacking options are good. Mitoma obviously did well. Danny Welbeck also did well. What do you think?
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't catch this game. I just watched the highlights.
Yeah,
so,
same.
Yeah, I mean, I know that Hinshelwood played left back, which caught a lot of people by surprise.
Number 41.
Barco was like one of the preseason hype trains, right?
Yeah. Now he's leaving.
And now I heard he's nailed for Sevilla.
Oh yeah, and if you want to play La Liga Fantasy, maybe you can.
yeah, it's nailed.
But yeah, now he's going to Sevilla, so he's completely out of the picture. Now, from a price perspective, I don't know if his price will fall. So usually they lock the price.
He's locked, right?
Yeah,
he's locked.
It should be locked if they're like a player's leaving, but I don't know at what point it gets locked. So I don't think it'll fall because it's a 4 million spot. But and also like if you're switching a 4 million, I don't think people should be switching a 4 million defender right now. Maybe just in your wildcard you switch him out, if anything. What do you think? Would you spend a transfer for a 4 million?
No, not for a 4 million.
Yeah.
Because the important thing, I mean, I think obviously the important thing is any information you get now.
Yeah.
Like you go from game week 1 to game week 2, you're essentially doubling the amount of information you have, right? And that's a huge reason to not make a transfer. The only reason to make a transfer is that if any price drop is basically almost a 0.5 price drop.
Yeah, which we'll get to with a certain Quansah.
We can talk about this in detail if you want.
Yeah. Okay, so going back to this close game, expect probably both sides to score.
Yeah, so the odds would say.
Yeah. All right. We'll see. If you have attacking assets from both teams, continue to keep.
Yeah, I mean Bruno is a probably a don't buy, don't sell.
Yeah.
United's fixtures aren't amazing, but there is a chance he could play up front.
Yes.
And even if he doesn't, he's a pretty solid asset.
Yeah.
And
They're
he looks
very.
in.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
They're very average
I mean
fixtures.
he missed he had bad finishing,
Yeah.
but like he looks up for it
Yeah.
for sure.
So,
Yeah,
like I was saying, the United fixtures are like you said, don't buy, don't sell. It's like it's not bad, it's not good as well, but it's decent enough.
and I would play Joe Pedro if you haven't. It's a
Oh,
common pick.
okay. I will get to that because there will be a few people, even with Fulham, when we get to Fulham. Actually, we'll go to Fulham next because Fulham play Leicester, and a lot of people have decisions to make. Some, for example, in the chat as well. This is from RK Global Transit or Roku. Oh, not Roku. Sorry, Connor. Basically, is it worth dropping ESR for Saliba? Because a lot of people will be in that situation, not only with Smith Rowe, but also with like a Robinson or even a Muniz, where they have like an Arsenal defender who play Aston Villa, which is a harder game. But they'll have a question mark on whether they start the Arsenal defender because obviously, even as much as we on paper you would say, oh, tough fixture maybe, but then Arsenal like centre backs do offer goal threat as well from set pieces. What would you do?
Pretty close one. I'd probably play Saliba. I think. I mean, I'm sure these come from betting odds, right?
Yeah, SpreadX markets. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure the betting markets have taken this into consideration, or maybe they haven't. But like,
Probably.
I don't think Villa attack looked very good at all.
No, they've had a horrible preseason as well, Villa. To be honest, I would expect Arsenal to win this.
And you know how pragmatic Arteta gets away from
Yeah,
home versus the big teams,
and the thing
which is what Villa are now. So,
yeah, and like the Villa were the team that took away points from Arsenal last season, so that has to be somewhat considered. But Arsenal is still the favorite team in this. The question is like, the question is, I guess, the ability to keep a clean sheet. 32% is actually pretty high, I would say. Versus Fulham, like a Robinson.
I mean, it's fourth highest. Oh, fifth highest.
Yeah. So like a Robinson versus a Saliba, or even a ESR versus a Saliba or a Gabriel, one of the two, whichever.
And keep in mind that ESR he's getting taken off early, right? He's not playing 90 minutes.
No, I don't think even in this game he might not play 90 minutes because he still has to build match fitness, right? Because he's a player who's coming back from not having played much football, previous injury history and whatnot. So he will take some time to get to a position where he's like a full 90-minute player.
Yeah, for sure.
Would you start Muniz over Saliba?
Yeah, I think I would.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I think he is a 90-minute player, and he actually plays up front.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Fair enough. Robinson, that's a close one.
It is a close one.
Yeah.
I guess going off this, you would, yeah, because he's
slightly.
If they had the same, like Robinson probably has more attacking threat.
Yes, or more consistent chance of attacking threat because of assist potential / bombing forward.
I mean, Saliba has like basically like a goal every 10 games or something worth of XG.
Yeah,
I remember looking at this last season.
Fair enough.
You expect a goal one every 9 or 10 games from him.
Yeah, fair enough. True, and I would say I would slightly edge Robinson over the Arsenal defender.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
There's not much in it.
No. Leicester on the other hand, Vardy chucking a Red Bull, scoring a goal.
We're back.
We're back. So basically, he's like, oh, I've got more Premier League titles than you do, effectively.
Yeah, that was great.
Do we expect a similar performance away from home?
We'll see. I don't think so. I mean, Leicester got battered in the first half.
Yes.
I think the reason they looked even remotely good was because I don't know what Spurs are doing in the second half, but Leicester got
Yeah.
absolutely dominated. Like, don't let the scoreline fool you.
Yep. Fair enough. They should have, like, Spurs should have taken the chances that they had, but yeah.
Yeah, they just weren't decisive. That's it.
Yeah. Yep. Fair enough. Then do we need to see the pass map of Leicester, or we'll just keep going?
I think we can keep going.
All right.
That was it. I don't think that's yeah.
Southampton Forest. I mean, Southampton, I'll tell you now, I can't say much about Southampton because the game got screwed over by the red card effectively. And even then, they still lost. Forest, they had Chris Wood, who basically had one shot on target, and he scored with that one shot effectively. A very close game here. I would still edge it slightly towards Forest compared to what the markets are saying here, just because I feel like they're a slightly better team. A lot of people went with like Gibbs White, Elanga, Hudson-Odoi. What would
I mean, the red card, it's like what you said. The red card means you can't assess anything.
Yeah.
Southampton could be shitter than they looked. They could be better than they looked.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be that surprised either way.
Yep.
If you look at their squad, it's like a pretty shit squad.
No,
it's
that's
like
great.
The same squad that got relegated like 3 years ago.
They've made a few signings, but yeah, it's hard to tell.
The back line is pretty much the same. There's like some right back that I don't know that everyone has on fantasy. Fucking Howard Bellis.
Yeah.
But like the centre backs are the same, like Bednarek, and it's like all from like four years ago.
They've made, it's hard to tell because you'd say they're still like a Premier League type side, right? End of the day, or at least they'll feel like they're a Premier League side.
Yeah, but we got to see how they play as a team, and that's what I think we can't assess from the Newcastle game.
Yeah,
But I think Brereton Diaz is
a good option.
Probably gonna be a good. Is already or will be a good FPL option at some point.
We'll just have to wait and see how they do.
Yeah. However, they aren't they signing? Did they sign someone? They signed a striker, right?
FPL Freddy can confirm for me that because he's a Southampton fan, so he'll have to let me know. But
sorry, Freddie. I just saw Bednarek and got triggered. I apologize for my lack of Southampton knowledge.
But I think both teams have something to prove, Southampton and Forest. So we'll see what happens. I have made a signing from Forest. I've got a player in. But yeah, I'll get to that later. Chris Wood, would you start him again this week? Or
Yep.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
And
they're probably going to play him. He's going to get heaps of minutes.
Yep.
Until Avoni works his way back into the squad, or they sign in Nketiah.
Yeah, fair enough. You asking who they signed? They signed Archer from Villa.
Oh yes, okay. I knew they signed a striker. Yeah, I couldn't remember.
That's coming from Andy, who is a Villa fan. All right, cool. So we'll see how Southampton and Forest do. I'm very interested in Forest. They still have some good fixtures over the short term, so I'm interested to see what they actually do because I went and made a signing for defense, and I went and got Nico Williams as the right back option. Now, having said that, they have been linked towards signing Moreno from Aston Villa again.
Actually, they already have.
Okay, that's been confirmed. So that I don't know if he will start straight away at left back and whether what happens to Aina in that specific situation. Does he move to right back or does Nico Williams continue to start right back? I'm not really sure on that. I saw that news after I had made the transfer, unfortunately. So that is one thing I'll have to wait and see with.
That's very unlike you, Ryan.
I know.
We'll get on a defender in game week 1. That's
I know. We'll talk about the 0.5 potential price drop when we get to it. But yeah, I've done that move. Now I had to wait and see. But I thought the team, like the fixtures are good for Forest. I was thinking short term because they got Southampton this week. Then they have Wolves next week. So I thought those two fixtures were pretty decent. And I was thinking, I can rotate him with like a Lewis Hall from Newcastle. So that's my initial thinking. Now I hope he retains his place. That's a different story. But yeah, that was my initial thinking. All right. Big game.
That's a good. I like that because I think Murillo would have been the boring pick.
Yes. Oh, Aina.
He just has like
whichever. Yeah.
Zero attacking threat.
No.
Murillo has, is my understanding.
I wanted like a very attacking fullback, and Nico Williams fits that budget like that.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Minutes is a different story, but we'll see. Big game for the week. Aston Villa versus Arsenal. Now, Arsenal did what Arsenal did what Arsenal do. They looked superb. But then again, it's against Wolves, and I think Wolves fans were ready to accept that they were going to get like a couple goals shipped past them. What do you think, Arsenal?
Yeah, 2-0 Arsenal. Yeah, 2-1, 2-0. Yeah.
2-1. Yeah.
I mean, they look really good.
Yeah.
Against Wolves. I don't know. I don't think they generated piles of XG, but they didn't have to.
Yeah.
Is what it felt like.
Yeah.
From watching the game.
Yeah.
I've seen the pass map, the heat map before.
Oh.
But basically, it's like 5 people in their box.
Who are we looking for? Arsenal or for Aston Villa?
Arsenal. Yeah, Arsenal Wolves.
So we're looking for the Arsenal versus Wolves. Here's
Arsenal. Look at this. Look at this. All 5 of them just camped around the box.
Yeah, fair enough. This is Arsenal versus Wolves, like pass map. You got Martinelli, you've got Declan Rice, Kai Havertz, Odegaard, and Saka. All 5 of them as high as possible, significantly high as possible.
And this is this lines up to how they play visually. The wingers hold the width, and that stretches the back line, and that gives space for everyone else. Like that's
effectively what. Yeah.
And how good was Saka, right?
Talisman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess the thing with Arsenal is obviously they have like when people look to potentially wild out somewhere game week 6, 7, they have like 3 game week fixtures that are really good, which is what people will load up on. But even then, they got decent fixtures before that where they can do well. And I've got Havertz in my team. Really happy to have him.
Good pick.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to more returns, hopefully. From Arsenal point of view, I guess we touched. Centre backs are a good option this week. And obviously Saka is a really good option as well going forward. Anyone else from Arsenal, I think? If you had Odegaard.
I think Odegaard's a bit expensive.
Yeah. That's right.
I think Odegaard's a bit expensive. There's better picks. Okay, I don't know about better, but there's cheaper picks that are probably as good. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Martinelli, I really want him to be a pick. I really do. I just think it makes a lot of sense, but I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, but back in the day, it used to feel like he was the real outlet.
Yes.
I don't really get that feeling anymore. Even when he gets minutes, I just don't get that feeling. Like he doesn't seem to be the guy running in behind in the middle.
No, he had short burst of like explosiveness, but not consistent enough. And like you have the threat of Trossard, unfortunately. And Trossard's a pretty good player as well. Good. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So I don't think Martinelli will become an FPL pick unless like Trossard gets injured and Martinelli goes in really great form. It's very unlikely that we actually look at Martinelli as an option, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think
And Declan Rice is really high up.
Yes. So I think when they look to sign, I think Merino that they were linked with. I don't know if that deal is done. So,
Mikel Merino.
Yeah, so he will most likely slot in and maybe Thomas Partey gets swapped out. But Declan Rice is going to be playing like a more box-to-box midfield, I would assume. Take that role. Or further advanced compared to a CDM spot.
You think so? I think Rice might be the pivot, right?
Ooh.
I think Rice becomes
that number
takes
6.
Partey's spot. Yeah, and then because Mikel Merino is quite a athletic box-to-box mid, and he has like quite a few goals in him, and like has a good final pass. So
We'll have to see, because I feel like Arteta sees
yeah,
Rice as like this, not necessarily a CDM type player.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
But I also at the same time, I don't think Mikel Merino is a 6 at all.
Yeah. Okay.
So
We'll have to see who else they sign. But
then I can't think where else Rice would play.
yeah. Fair enough. All right. So Arsenal best players, I think Saka, Havertz, and then maybe a defender for now.
Yeah. Did you consider starting with Zinchenko? I didn't talk to you much in preseason, but
I didn't.
I did think about that.
I've seen a couple Zinchenko. I saw a couple Zinchenko drafts from our subscribers, and I wasn't
Yeah.
against it because he generally at the start is okay as an option because we knew he was going to start. Going throughout the rest of the season, I don't know, because once California gets integrated into that squad, you're going to have a more minutes risk option. So for a short-term punt, it's fine. Longer term, obviously.
It was always a short-term punt.
Yeah.
I think Zinchenko's never holding the spot.
Yeah.
Because it's not just Calafiori, like Timber is there as well.
Yeah.
On the left.
Yeah. That's true. All right. Back to Aston Villa, who in this case, in terms of their pass map, Leon Bailey, 6.5 million, very advanced, obviously in this case.
Yeah.
Matty Cash does Matty Cash things, made a few mistakes that led to the goal, unfortunately.
Yeah. They need to. I think they will eventually replace him.
They had a 4 million player who is probably one to watch. I have forgotten his name now. In terms of a fullback.
4 million?
Yeah, from Aston Villa. This is where Andy might have
this is the guy with he's got a really long name. I think I know who you're talking
about. Costa. I'm not even going to try. That's the name. But yeah, Costa.
Yeah.
That is someone to maybe keep an eye out for now. But obviously this week not. But
Nedeljkovic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So one to potentially keep an eye out for. I think Watkins. If you have Watkins, do you keep Watkins or what's the case?
If you have him, I suppose you keep him.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't. I don't think I want to have him just yet. He literally doesn't look that good. And I think John Duran is a really good backup striker.
Yep.
I think he would be a good starting striker for a lot of teams in the league. Every time he comes on, he looks really good. I remember last season he had some great moments too. So yeah.
I think we'll have to wait till Watkins gains like some match rhythm before he becomes an option at the moment.
Yeah.
And obviously Rodgers for a 5 million option looked pretty good. To be honest, he's there just behind Watkins as well. He set up a couple chances from the highlights that I watched. So if I was to rate, I think Leon Bailey probably the best Villa option, with Rodgers probably second, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Leon Bailey's a really good pick.
Yeah. 6.5 million.
He's injury prone, of course, but he's very attacking.
Yeah, as you can see, like very advanced from that pass map. Cool. Goal line, what do you think? 2-0, you said?
Yeah, I think 2-0 Arsenal. Yeah.
Fair enough. I think 2-1. I think Villa might snatch. We'll see. First one.
I think Arteta's going to play very, very pragmatically.
Yeah. All right. Wolves versus Chelsea. The fourth highest expected goals for Chelsea, or at least in this game, Chelsea. Now, obviously, a lot of people have Nkunku. I have Nkunku. Do you have Nkunku?
Yeah.
What are you going to do with Nkunku? Play him or?
Yeah, play him. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are overreacting about
they've got a good
what
run
happened against Man City when it comes to Nkunku.
Yeah. They've got Wolves, Palace, Bournemouth, West Ham, Brighton, and Forest. Now
this is an unbelievable run. Yeah. And this is like 6.5 million for this is a guy who had double-digit goals and assists for multiple seasons in Europe, Champions League. Like this guy, didn't he also win like Young Player of the Year and stuff? Like
maybe, I don't know.
I think he won European Young Player of the Year.
But he was really good in the Bundesliga. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's an unbelievable player. Like people are underrating him. Like he's
now. I've got Chelsea's pass map up here. Nkunku, obviously, number 18. Most of I would say Chelsea's actually like the formation and like the structure is not too bad. The only problem is obviously they
I
have
thought they were
Jackson.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got
Yeah.
Jackson. That's the problem.
Yeah. Are they getting Osimhen? Is that happening?
So they've got this guy. Who? Joao Felix. That's been done.
Yeah.
Osimhen, I don't know. I think Napoli are in a situation where they need to sell. So I don't know what's going to happen with Osimhen. Maybe they might get him. You never know with Chelsea. It's hard to say what they're actually going to do. But I think if you have Nkunku, I think I will play him this week. Here's a question.
He's also not going to play on the left.
Yeah,
he's
he'll
gonna
drift in
play-
and whatnot.
Like look at the pass map. Caicedo is playing number 8. Like you think Caicedo is going to play number 8 versus a team that is in Man City?
Yeah,
There's no way.
True.
Like he either gets dropped or he takes Lavio's spot. Like he.
Yeah.
And I think Nkunku will play behind the striker, maybe false 9. You know, it's not going to be left wing.
Expecting maybe Pedro Neto probably plays that left wing spot.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I
don't know. They have like 100 players. I
know.
don't know.
I know, but the manager says, "Oh, I don't even look at half the squad." That's a different story. But yeah, we'll see.
I saw a meme which was a picture of everyone in Chelsea training, and they're like, it looks like a gym on January 1st.
Well, as soon as the summer starts, kicks in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Nkunku is a good option if you have him. You play him. Chelsea defense though, too risky.
I mean, who's the pick? Gusto?
Colville?
4.5? Is Colville 4.5?
Yeah, I think so.
That's actually big. Yeah. And
Probably,
nailed, right?
Yeah,
I think he's nailed.
Well, it has to be. I think I wouldn't. Yeah, Colville is 4.5. Gusto is 5 though, so I wouldn't go for Gusto. I think probably Colville is probably my option here.
Honestly, they looked as fine against City.
Yeah. We'll see how they do. Obviously, people have been put off by the way, like, but City is a good team, right? City, most teams will struggle to beat City, to be honest.
Yeah.
And apparently, Joao Felix has come in at 6.5.
Really?
Yeah. So that's another very interesting option to kind of.
Interesting, but he's still not a pick. He's,
no.
I just don't think he's a pick.
Yeah, I have to go to the second page to find Joao Felix.
Yeah.
Of Chelsea, but
I mean, he's
6.5.
Yeah.
But yeah, not a pick at the moment. I would prefer Nkunku for the moment.
Does Chelsea do you think Chelsea remembers that he played for them and wasn't very good before?
If there's a different manager,
or did they just forgot and paid 50 million?
Possibly. You never know with Todd Bowley. You never know. All right. Going back to the pictures, Wolves. I mean, tough run for Wolves, to be honest. They have a 4 million player in Mascara, who later in the season we might think about him. Number 14 in this pass map. But for the moment, maybe no Wolves players, to be honest.
I have Mascara.
Oh yeah, Mascara. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah. I don't know how. It's like, imagine getting a player for 4 million.
Yep.
Turning on the game, and then he's like sexually assaulted one player and like almost got sent off by another player.
I mean, he'll become a good option when Wolves start to get slightly better fixture run, which is not at the moment though.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else to add in this game?
Wolves Chelsea.
Yeah. Starting Nkunku. That's basically it.
Yeah, starting Nkunku, Colville's probably I like that pick actually. Yeah.
Colville. Yeah.
Fixtures breed form and fixtures are good there for Chelsea.
Yeah, but I would wait and just see how they do against Wolves before doing that move, just to like see what.
Yeah.
Because in preseason they were horrible defensively, but yeah. All right, Crystal Palace, West Ham. Now Crystal Palace have lost Anderson. Do you think that makes the defense worse?
Who's his replacement?
This is a
I
very
assume they're not going to sell. There's no way they're going to sell Gehi now.
no, if they lose Gehi as well, you might as well just say goodbye to Crystal Palace's defense. I don't know, maybe Richards? No, Richards also starts. Who is his replacement? Joel Ward?
Does someone know in the chat? Let's see.
I don't think they've signed anyone.
Yeah, but I mean, yes, does this make a very popular pick in the game Henderson worse? Probably. Right?
Yeah.
Probably makes Henderson a little bit worse, but also like it's also the manager, right?
Yeah.
Like they can. This is the team that conceded like 4 less XG second half of last season, right? Yeah.
I guess the flip
It's
side
the
is
manager, right? Like the manager has a system, and probably a lot of half decent players are going to be okay there.
Yeah, I think the flip side is you could say Henderson will get more save points potentially.
I mean,
but yeah, the defense does downgrade slightly.
That kind of works more if you don't have control of the midfield, right? You want them shooting from far.
Yeah.
Not the centre back.
Yeah. What do you think about Munoz? Does it affect him? I guess clean sheet wise, it still would affect him.
He's always in the box.
Yeah, he's
like
attacking.
He's always in the box, but like I don't. He doesn't seem very good in the box.
Okay, from a finishing point of view.
Yeah, like he's a right winger, but he's a shit right winger. That's what I think of Munoz. But I think that still makes him a good pick, probably.
Okay. Yeah, I think he's still a decent pick. With the fixtures, if the fixtures are good, obviously it's still a decent pick. Not bad to play against West Ham. But West Ham, on the other hand, obviously, they've signed quite a lot of players. Although I think it's still one game, maybe Lopetegui still hasn't managed to imprint his style per se onto this West Ham team. So
they've signed too many players for me to be too
tell.
interested.
Yeah.
Let's see how they settle.
Yeah, fair enough. And also their fixtures in the next couple aren't the best as well for the moment, at least. So wait and see. Eze looked good. I think Eze will still continue to look good. So anyone who has Eze, still a good option, to be honest. That's basically it, I would say, from this game.
He's ready to put his team on his back and
carry them.
That's what you want. That's what you want in FPL.
Yep, fair enough. From a West Ham, obviously, like we said, fixtures not that great, but obviously monitor them and see how they do as a team in general. Because
I don't think there's much to note. I think I saw a stat that Souček had the most touches in the box in Gameweek 1.
I haven't checked that yet.
Yeah. Souček was the number one in the whole game. Souček and Havertz or something.
Yeah, but that's basically what I would say. I think Palace are the favorites, unfortunately, in this one. Would you start Munoz? Would you probably start Munoz in this game? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. The big one, City versus Ipswich. We'll probably cover captaincy as well in this. Let's start with the midfield, Haaland. Okay. Is triple captaincy worth it? Because that's the title of the show.
Yep. We have to confess, it's a little bit clickbait, right?
Yeah, fair enough. You had to do stuff to improve the YouTube analytics.
you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
But it is being strongly considered.
Yep.
So the main reason is not just. There's a few reasons, right? The number one reason being, we seem to have pretty good info early that there's only going to be 2 double game weeks.
2 or maybe 3. Yeah, there aren't going to be as many as last season. That's for sure.
And that's for sure.
Yeah, because I think there were a maximum of 8 fixtures, I think, that could get rescheduled in total. Because I was listening to Planet FPL preseason, and they went through this whole thing. And I think he calculated like about 8 fixtures that could get rescheduled. But there was like a very odd case of if United and Spurs, like they went throughout in every single competition, then it screws over some stuff. Because of the way the Europa League is structured in terms of the final being before the season ends and all of that. But in general, like it's just probably 8 fixtures in total. So you probably get, like what you said, 2 double game weeks and maybe a blank game week. Did you get a blank week? I think so, yeah.
But can those things change?
If something drastically happens, like Queen passing away or something like that.
Or that's what it takes?
I mean, like, that's what happened last time, right? Because like we got like that extra double and whatnot. Or like game gets cancelled due to strike or something, like that's possible, right? That's also like real strike, game gets cancelled, or touchwood.
So I mean,
What happened in the
if you
Bournemouth
only
fixture?
have, yeah, sure. I mean, if you only have 2, maybe 3 game weeks, you have, you're gonna have a bench boost to play in one,
Yeah,
and
whatever the mystery chip is.
probably maybe a wild card in one, and then whatever this mystery chip is, it'll probably be good in a double game week,
Yeah,
unless it's completely shit.
yeah.
So triple captain, you might just have to use it in a single game week,
Maybe you could
and
still use
it
it in a
feels
double.
wrong to you. Yeah, I mean, it's just such a shit chip. Honestly, that's the main thing, right? It's such a shit chip. Like the expected value of triple captain is really, really low compared to like a bench boost or something.
True, but like there's very little planning that has to go into a triple captain. That's the one. I guess I see your point because like you never know, right? Triple captain is just like it's like playing Russian roulette. You just hope.
I honestly don't think it matters too much,
Yeah,
and I'm trying not to overthink it.
yeah,
I think this is a spot where Haaland is just going to play 90 minutes.
yep.
Okay, fine. They're like 4-0 up, and he gets taken off, but then he's probably scored 3 goals.
Yeah, I think he's gonna get 90 minutes. I don't think they have got like rotation options for him to actually come off.
There's no Alvarez.
Yeah.
They're in the market for a few strikers. They haven't signed anyone yet.
Yeah.
Foden's not probably fully match fit, so
But
he's
he
not
might
even
start.
gonna. I mean, he's match fit, but he's not in crazy form
He's
yet.
not gonna be 90-minute player where Haaland has to come off and Foden stays. Yeah.
So I'm not worried about Foden playing as a false nine or taking some
Yeah.
minutes off him.
Yeah.
My only, they're playing a promoted side that, again, in the second half against Liverpool, they conceded so much XG.
Yeah.
They conceded like 3 XG in like 20 minutes, and that's all he needs.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. That is very true. Like
So the stars are sort of aligning. The one thing that I think, the one sort of thing that talks me off the ledge is I think KDB is not in the best of form.
So supply won't be as great for him potentially.
Yeah, and I think he's the main source.
That's probably true. Unless Foden also starts, but then I don't know how much form Foden is also going to be in.
Yeah.
So that might be an issue. Supply might be an
issue.
And
Rodri is still out, right?
Yes. I think he's still out. Yeah. So that could be like a few cons. And obviously, I think the other thing for me is like, obviously, I personally prefer to play the triple captaincy in like a double game week because you just basically get like 2 bites of the cherry. Whereas a single game week, if it fails, it fails. At least in a double, I know if it fails the first game week, second game week, you kind of start off with like 4 points as the base.
You get 4 points.
Yeah. Effectively. So the base of a triple captaincy in a double game week is better than the single game week. But the only difference here is.
But don't you want to use other chips?
Maybe, but like, I don't know. It depends. Again, it's hard to tell, right? Because we don't know exactly what the doubles will be like. We can kind of predict, but it's like at this point, it's just no point in thinking about it, like what exactly the doubles will be like. And you might not necessarily, when it comes to it, it might not be that like Haaland is not the best option. Could be another player that becomes like a really good option. Because I remember like last season, or there was like Salah as a triple captaincy option. I think season before, was it the one before that? I think Rashford was a good triple captaincy option. So some other player might turn up as a good triple captaincy option. It doesn't have to be just Haaland. But if you wanted Haaland, this is probably one of the best fixtures to get him.
Yeah, it's the 90 minutes thing should not be understated.
Yeah, true. Because later in the season, there is no guarantee of 90 minutes. They might maybe have another striker.
Champions League starts.
Exactly.
He's like we always face that thing of like, oh, he only gets 65, 70 minutes.
Yeah.
Like.
And like, he might even be injured. Who knows? Or he might not be available. We don't know. Things could be different later. That's the only thing. This you at least know what's ahead of you, and you know he might most likely definitely play 90 minutes.
I'm fairly convinced this is one of the best Haaland fixtures.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, there might be, Salah might have a better fixture or something.
Yeah. Would now there's the question obviously from Luis about like this mystery chip. I don't think the mystery chip would affect me in terms of whenever like if I had to play the triple captaincy, I would play it in a double. I don't think the mystery chip would potentially affect me. I don't know. I haven't been thinking about this mystery chip. I will just like take it as it comes kind of situation.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, we didn't even talk about free hit, right?
No.
There's free hit, wildcard, bench boost. All
Yeah.
of those make sense in double game weeks.
Yeah.
And mystery chip's probably going to be something that
Also
interacts
maybe
with
a
the double
double.
game week.
Yeah, probably.
That's just maybe, but
Maybe.
that is how they seem to. Yeah.
Usually chips are better in a double rather than a single.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not rocket science.
Yeah,
So,
unless it's
yeah.
the free hit where maybe in a blank also it's pretty powerful. But apart from that, usually double game weeks are generally more preferred just because you have a higher flow effectively. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Haaland, good. For those who don't have Haaland, captaincy. I guess I'll go straight to we'll touch on Liverpool as well. I think Liverpool
Yeah. Salah.
Salah
Yeah,
second
for
best
sure.
option.
I mean, they have almost as much projected goals.
Yeah.
Salah looked great. I'm scared of not having him.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So
There's this crazy stat that I saw going around where Salah hasn't done anything in game week 2 in the past 7 seasons.
I do not care for these stats.
Okay.
It means nothing to me.
We wipe that out as soon as possible. Okay.
I mean, it's just like it's a funny stat, I guess. But
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay. That side doesn't matter. So I think Salah is still significantly second best option. If you don't have Haaland and you have Salah, you just put it on Salah. Is there any other captain that
Elizia, sorry if I said your name wrong. Elizar says it's because they changed the FA Cup schedule.
Yes.
Okay,
That's
that
why
makes
there aren't
sense.
that many doubles this year. Yep. So I guess Salah is probably the next best captaincy option if you don't have Haaland. Would you rip up your squad to go and get Haaland?
But what does that mean? Taking hits?
Yeah, taking a hit.
Probably not.
Okay. Would you like, because I've seen people thinking about selling like Palmer or selling
I guess
Watkins,
it's dependent.
stuff like that.
I wouldn't sell Palmer.
Okay.
I think Palmer is a very clear hold.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah, and Watkins, I don't know. Like if you had a way to sell him and then get him back, like someone in the chat said before, but these things cost too many transfers.
Fair enough. Would you free hit this game week? I don't know. Like free hit is also like a problem.
You know what? I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, because there was a question in the chat from Dalipool.
Yeah. I don't hate it.
Because let's say people who obviously didn't start with Haaland, right? There are a few options.
Actually, wait, no. I thought about it more. I hate it. I'll tell you why I hate it.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I think it's a really good upside for the free hit, but the real value of the free hit is the planning benefit it offers.
Yeah.
Like the planning around it, and I don't think there's much planning benefit to just free hitting now.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't think this allows you to do anything crazy. It didn't allow you to do anything crazy before because it's only game week 2.
Yeah.
And it's not going to allow you to do anything crazy after because there's no crazy change in fixtures or anything like that.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess for me, I would say I wouldn't free hit purely because of the reason. Like when I play a chip, I want to try and get some kind of upside. In a in a blank game week, you could free hit and you could say, oh, I'll get more players in my team, or I'll get 11 players in my team compared to someone who is not free hitting and plays less than 11 or has to take hits in the lead up to that, try and get 11 in their team or something like that. Or in a double game week, you can get more than 11. You get like 15, 20 players, like effectively games from your free hit. Whereas in a single game week where every single team is playing and everyone still has 11 players, the only difference you are getting, I guess, is you are able to target some of the fixtures. Like you can go triple City, you can go triple Liverpool. Now it could pay off, but I feel like the upside is slightly low. And worst case scenario, if something happens later in the season where like we get a decent blank, you might be screwed.
I actually think the upside is Probably, I think you're understating it a little bit.
for this week?
Yeah, but like I think there's two components to the upside. Like I think the upside is high because you can get really good like 3 Liverpool, 3 City.
Yeah.
Like I think you can get some fun picks. You can get like Salah, Jota, Trent, or you know, and Haaland.
Haaland, maybe
Yeah,
Foden if you get the leaks
maybe
that he's
maybe you
starting.
can get something crazy like Doku that probably don't want
Yeah.
to have forever. You can find some interesting picks like that.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So I think that upside is there, but like I think the lack of the planning benefit is why I wouldn't do it.
So
But
the
then again, this is a game of luck as well,
yeah,
and
true.
it's a good spot to have fun.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess the one counter, like what Delhi Police mentioned, is that now you can plan ahead with like 5 transfers. Before we had only max 2, so it was a bit more harder. Now you can like effectively save up to 5 transfers, which might be very hard to do, generally speaking. But you could potentially save up to 5 transfers in ahead of a blank, and then So maybe that kind of undervalues like the power of the free hit as well, potentially. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's too powerful a chip to spend now.
Yeah, fair enough.
And back to my point about the triple captain, I don't think that's a powerful chip at all. Yeah.
All right, cool.
So if you lose it, you lose it. I don't think it's that big a deal.
All right, so not a bad week to play a triple captain if you wanted to.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Spurs versus Everton. Now,
Yep.
go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was going to say Spurs dominated Leicester.
Yes.
They.
Maybe in the past
What's
map.
that meme? They tried to walk it in.
Effectively, yes. Look
Yeah.
at this pass map.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Spurs should have taken the chances when they had the chances. I think one thing from the pass map that I want to mention is number 23, Pedro Porro. Probably even ahead of their right winger in Brennan Johnson.
Yeah. I mean, Porro's just a crazy good pick.
Yeah. We don't know exactly the status of his injury, but I think he will be fine, potentially. I don't think he'll be out.
Someone said that he's posting on Instagram.
Yeah, I've seen that. He's posted on Instagram, on Twitter, and whatnot. So I think he'll be fine. But we'll see once Ange does his press conference and tells us what we need to do. But Porro such a good pick. The question is, now obviously this game is fine. You probably start Porro in this week. Going forward, the next 2 after that is Newcastle and Arsenal. What do you do with Porro then? If let's say
I think you play him.
Okay, fair enough.
Because he's just an attacker at this point. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. Because I think a lot of people, when they were getting Spurs assets, were like very short-term picks, and then after that.
I mean, I think he's a Trent level attacker.
Yeah.
But
more goal than assist.
Exactly. Yeah, I think his XGI is composed of more goal than assist, but probably less BPS and much less clean sheet.
Yeah, so, yeah, definitely. Because you're getting Porro for attacking, and that's it. Clean sheets, I don't even expect from Spurs.
No, never. Yeah.
Maddison looked really good in the game. Created quite a bit of chances. Son got hooked before Solanke did. So,
I actually almost weirdly started with Son.
Okay.
I'm very glad I didn't. It's only one game week, so I'm trying not to think too much. But he did not look remotely worth it. Yeah.
Fair enough.
He's too wide. Yeah.
Yeah, for people who went with Kulusevski, he didn't start this game. Maybe
I was a bit surprised by that.
Yeah, I was expecting him to start actually over Brennan Johnson because I didn't think Brennan Johnson looked great in preseason for Spurs. From all the talk that was going about, so there is still a chance that Brennan Johnson could start. Kulusevski could start for the next game. But what would you do like with Solanke?
I think he's a really good pick. I think he is a very good striker for their system.
Yeah.
Like Ange likes an off the ball striker who works hard, who is always making runs in behind, because a key part of his system is that if someone is always stretching the back line, that's more space for the eights to operate in.
Yeah.
So it's really important to have a striker that stays forward, is always on the last man. And Solanke is actually, I think, a very good signing in terms of profile. I think he fits that exact profile. I guess there is a chance that Richarlison takes some minutes off him, but Solanke is super fit, right? Like he barely missed a minute for Bournemouth last season. Yeah, I think he's a very good pick. I think 7.5 is like quite a good value price. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it's such an attacking team. I
Yes.
think he's a really good pick. Yeah.
All right. Madison, I guess, still pretty good option. Just have to wait and see. Maybe when they get a better run of fixtures, probably.
We didn't talk about other City players, right? Do we?
Oh yes. Well, okay. Back to City. Other City players like Guardiola wasn't as attacking. Oh, I should mention Rico Lewis.
I have Rico Lewis. That's why
What?
I wanted to talk about it. Yeah.
Did you start with Rico Lewis?
No, so
You made the transfer.
I made a transfer and I bought Rico Lewis. Yeah.
Did you start with Quansah?
I have Quansah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Did you Quansah?
I sell Quansah this morning before he
Okay.
went down. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why did you get Rico Lewis?
So I think it's worth talking about him. It's a punt.
Okay,
Sure.
yeah, fair enough.
But I think that I have a player who will play if Rico Lewis doesn't play.
Okay.
I have Mazraoui.
Yeah.
And I think that yes, he is a rotation risk when Walker is back, and I think Walker is back starting this game week or the next. And both Walker and Stones can play that role where they start as a right back and then they invert into midfield and stay as a midfielder. But that's actually not what I saw Rico Lewis doing. I think he is coming in and playing as a number 8. He's like a proper attacking midfield in the middle of the pitch. And I don't think Walker definitely cannot play that role. He's only just good enough on the ball for a Pep system. Stones maybe can, but I don't think he's got the agility for it. Rico Lewis, and fitness, did you say?
And fitness, yeah, for Stones.
Yeah. And Rico Lewis, he looks like an attacking player on the ball, but he can go and defend like the fullback spaces. I'm very, I mean, now I'm biased because I already bought him, but I think, but I'm very convinced that there's not really anyone else in the squad that can play that role. And I mean, Pep's just trying out a shape at the start of the season. I think he's gonna stick with it for a bit.
So,
like,
go ahead.
So look at the pass map. Yeah. Their defense is like a 2-3, whereas a lot of the time last season it was a 3-2. And it was more. It was definitely more of a 3-2. So
the question with this is, now, when I was having consent, like deciding what to do with him, the reason I didn't go for Rico Lewis, even though the fixtures look good short term, is purely because of the threat of Walker. Now, obviously, you said you have like a replacement. As I had a replacement, I just didn't want to go there again because I was like, I had already had to deal with Quansah. I was like, I don't want another Quansah situation. I can see the upside because he's very attacking. And 4.5. 4.5 into a City route, yeah. Sign me up. Take my money. The only problem for me was the minutes. But I guess if you have like another player who could come in and play just in case he gets benched, then it's not a bad option.
Yeah, so I mean, I have nailed players for the medium and long term.
Okay,
even
so
if he doesn't play.
Yeah.
But I really just wanted some good fixtures in this one and maybe the next.
Okay.
If we get 2 starts out of him,
you're happy with it.
I think that's enough. I think I mean, I think that I'm happy with that part of the decisioning. But like, I think the larger conversation is around, should we have just rolled the transfer and just eaten the price drop?
Okay, let's
I
get
think
into this.
that's probably a more important discussion.
Now, let's get into this Quansah discussion because I have sold Quansah. Now, it's obviously too late to discuss about Quansah in terms of like, if you've not sold by this point, it's like, yeah, it's gone. The price is gone. You're on like you've basically effectively taken a 0.5 drop. That's the problem at the start of the season, because when you get like that 4.5 to a 4.4 is a major blow in terms of like the ability to buy players, because you basically are shopping at the 4.0 market, and as we've discussed, the only high upside 4.0 is now going to play La Liga Fantasy instead of Premier League Fantasy in Barco. Everyone else is like, unless this Aston Villa 4.0 steps up, there aren't that many other options available. Like you're looking at the Ipswich boys maybe, and I've got one in Ben Johnson who also didn't start, unfortunately. But Greaves, I'm expecting him to start. Greaves obviously on the end of set pieces. But like you don't have that many else. It's like Ipswich or Harvard Bell is like at 4.0, or like Masquerada like you have, but fixtures aren't great. Now I wasn't initially when I made like a video of like best players and like players to stick and twist, I initially said stick on Quansah because at that point it didn't seem like he was gonna fall. I feel like everyone just started talking about him and then started putting pressure on like his price actually ended up falling because people were talking about, oh, it's gonna fall, and then everyone gets scared and then everyone transfers out. There is still no guarantee that Quansah has been completely annihilated from the starting 11. He could still play the next game.
Okay. All right, let's take a position each then. What do you think? Do you think he'll start?
I think he could still potentially start the next game.
I don't think he'll start, actually.
If he doesn't start, then red flag. Probably already a red flag, but yeah.
I'm not saying, I don't think he's out of the team for good or anything. I don't think he's going to start because I think Slot was very clear, and you could see it. Like Quansah looked very good on the ball and very comfortable on the ball. Was an important part of how they progressed the ball in the first half, but he lost important duels in the air.
Yes,
and kept losing those duels.
Yeah,
and like to the point where like they, I forgot who they played. I watched the game.
They were playing Ipswich.
Yeah. To the point where it was like quite an obvious weakness.
Yeah.
That for the other team to target.
Yeah.
And like I don't. How's that going to fly in the Premier League? Like it's
that is the problem. So maybe opponent based. If you're playing opponents,
and who are they playing? They're playing Brentford.
Yeah, that's the one.
They're the most physical team in the league.
Yeah, but then I guess if Tony was starting, I would have been like, yeah, Quansah is not starting. Because Tony will.
But they don't need. Tony's not the only physical guy.
But like, you're basically going up against Visa, right? In that case, then, in terms of a striker.
Yeah, but like in set pieces, right?
Oh, set pieces, you're screwed.
Set piece is the problem, right?
Yeah.
Brentford is a set piece team, and they always play 3 centre backs.
Yeah.
Right, and they have like a defensive mid who's also basically another centre back.
Yeah. They've got tall players, Brentford. That is true. Set pieces, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
So
and then Slot comes out at the end and says very clearly, he was losing duels, so he took him off.
Yeah.
Like, and then Konate had a good game too after that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think he's going to play.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I've sold him at this point. So for me, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to think about him. Because if he doesn't play, so then this is where the question is like, was it worth making the transfer or holding the 2 free transfers? Because 2 free transfers is still very powerful as well.
And like I said before, you're going to double the amount of info you have.
Yes. That's
like
true.
All our assumptions, everything we've talked about right now is based off watching one game.
Yeah.
And anything can change.
Yeah.
And nothing can change more quickly than at this exact point of the season.
Yeah, and also the transfer window is still open as well. So we've already seen like Anderson moving to Fulham, and that's affecting quite a lot of managers. Which who knows who else is going to move? To be honest, so that could also affect. Now, the only thing by making the transfer,
you know what would be the craziest thing? You know how I said Rico Lewis they don't have a good replacement.
Yeah,
Cancelo is still in the club.
He hasn't gone back to Barcelona.
No, he hasn't left yet.
Oh, he's not playing. Don't worry.
Yeah.
If he is even priced in FPL, I don't think he's priced in FPL.
No, he is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He won't play. Very unlikely. I'll be shocked if he does. But yeah. The thing is, 2 free transfers is very important because now by us making this 1 free transfer now, we're going to be in the mindset that we're not going to make a transfer come ahead of game week 3 unless we're forced to again. Because you'll want to save that transfer. And you have a lot.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like, if you don't have Salah like me,
Yeah.
you really should be thinking about saving transfers to maybe switch Haaland to Salah game week 4 or 5 or something like that.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah. If this costs me 4 points then
Yeah.
It's probably not worth it.
Yeah, fair enough. But we won't know at the moment.
No.
Yeah.
But
Okay, so we'll have to see. Obviously, because initially I was like, I'm going to roll the transfer in game week, like after game week 1, have 2 free transfers in game week 2. Then I can decide what to do with my team in terms of like, if I wanted to make 2 moves, I could easily, like I could have like downgraded a Porto and or changed a Rashford to someone else. Like it would have been a bit more easy and flexible to do that. But now, obviously, now I'm in a position after making 1 free transfer, I would want to save that transfer in game week 2 to 3 as much as possible, because there are others who have already saved it. And now with the ability that you can carry your transfers post wildcard as well, like you're going to be in a situation where people have saved up more transfers than you, played their wildcard, and are still ahead of the game with you when you are playing catch up.
Yep.
That's the one problem. Oh, well, we'll see what happens. Obviously, we won't know the impact of it just yet, but yeah.
So if you had made no transfer, who would have played for you?
Robinson and Lewis Hall. Lewis Hall would have played ahead of the transfer that I bought Nico Williams. So Nico Williams is starting now ahead of Lewis Hall.
Okay.
Yeah. So I could have still kept Quansah on the bench and played Lewis Hall easily.
So for me, it was Mazraoui.
Okay. So that's also still not a bad option. The thing is...
Yeah, I think they're sort of equivalent.
Yeah. It's just that we didn't want to take that price drop because of the potential... The only option is then you're shopping in the 4.0 market compared to shopping in the 4.5 where there are more options.
Yeah, but I think I would have taken the price drop if I had someone that I actually thought was going to keep a clean sheet.
Yeah, fair enough. I didn't think Lewis Hall would potentially keep a clean sheet this game, which is why I kind of
I mean, I think that's a better shout than Mazraoui. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
I definitely don't think United will keep a clean sheet.
No. But I was happy to I guess you could say the same thing for Nico Williams as well. He might not necessarily keep a clean sheet, but yeah.
Yeah, but upside.
Yeah, true. But the upside was that. That's the reason. Yeah. All right. Anything else to mention from City? Do you think Guardiola less attacking, more attacking?
Yeah. So far, again, sample size of 1 looks less attacking. Yeah.
Okay.
But like, I was actually quite surprised by his role last season. I didn't think that's how I didn't think they signed him to play like that. But he ended up being such an attacking wingback.
Yeah.
Taking shots from outside the box and stuff. But he's throughout his career, he's always been a left-sided centre back. Yeah. I thought he was the perfect player to play in a back 3, in the left of a back 3.
Yeah. Might be the role this season, but we don't know. Sample size, too small sample size.
Yeah.
All right. We touched on Spurs, Everton as well. Bournemouth, Newcastle. Obviously, very hard to tell the whole game from Newcastle versus Southampton was just screwed with the red card, so can't really tell much. So we'll get to know more about Newcastle this week. What do you do with the Newcastle? There's rumors I just saw from Aston before we went live with Trippier most likely to leave on a loan maybe to like an Everton or some other club. So that kind of improves Livramento's chances of being the right back going forward. But apart from that, what do you think?
Is Lewis Hall nailed?
I think he should be now, with obviously Fabian Schär is suspended, so Dan Burn has to play that centre back spot, and also Lewis Hall should be fine for the moment as well. And Lloyd Kelly, I don't think is going to take his spot just yet. But
Andy just said what I was thinking, which is that Bournemouth are a good side. They're a good side with a good coach.
Yeah. That's the one thing where I think the clean sheets might not necessarily come here.
I don't know. Look, Newcastle didn't look that great, but like whatever, they had a red card.
Yeah, true. That we don't. It's hard to read into it.
And what you said at the start of the pod, like Champions League, as much as Champions League matters, not having Champions League matters maybe even more.
Yeah, they looked really good when they didn't have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know.
And I guess compared to last season where they had so many injuries, they've got all their players back this season. So midfield is strong, defense is strong.
Joelinton, their best player.
Yeah, makes a massive difference as well for their team. Nick Pope also back. That also makes a massive difference.
I wish I picked Pope, honestly, instead of Pickford.
Fair enough. Yeah, I probably would have done that. But anyways, it is too late now.
It's too late.
All right. So one to watch and see in terms of how this game goes.
Anyone from Bournemouth? Do they have good fixtures?
So they don't have good fixtures. That's the one problem for me.
Okay, all right. Well, let's just wait and watch them.
But because they're bottom of the ticker. They've signed a new.
Semenyo playing up front.
Yeah, right? But their new forward has come in. Evanilson.
Oh, Evanilson.
Yeah, he's at like 6 million or something. For Bournemouth, so he could become an option as their forward going forward effectively. But the fixtures in the short term aren't you could say they're mixed actually, because like Everton, Chelsea are not a bad attacking fixture. Liverpool is hard. Then after that you have Southampton, Leicester. So it's
Everton away, Liverpool away. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the best. That's the only problem.
Okay, we'll see how they go.
Yeah. One to keep an eye out for. And the final team, Liverpool versus Brentford.
Yeah. Salah, amazing. Everyone, yeah.
Jota, Trent.
Maybe he played wide, but when
he got
when they have the ball, he's always on the end of things.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Jota playing really well, but I think he's always going to get taken off between 65 and 75.
Yeah.
But even then, I think it's a good pick.
Trent?
Yeah, best pick in the game. Wish I had him.
I can't get to him. It's too expensive. 7 million. Like
with Salah I can't get to him because I sold Quansah for Lewis. And now I definitely can't get to him.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a really good pick. I don't know how. I don't know. It's very hard to like actually fit him in with Salah, Haaland. You sacrificing elsewhere. I've got like Isak and Havertz as well, so it's like hard to actually fit that in. But good option.
Yeah, I mean, I have a Gabriel.
Okay.
And Isak down to a Solanke, Gabriel up to a Trent.
That frees up the funds. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, Liverpool still good options, good fixtures ahead.
What are your thoughts on Szoboszlai as a pick?
He's actually rate him as I did consider him at a brief moment like a 6.5 option, like that fourth or fifth midfield, like fourth midfield effectively in your teams. The only thing I was slightly worried about was like the number of options they have to compete. And I wasn't sure exactly what the structure was going to be apart from like I knew Salah was nailed. I wasn't sure about anyone else in terms of their minutes and everything.
I'm not kidding. I knew he was nailed. I knew he was going to play 90 because just how fit he is and like how much he gives the team off the ball. My worry was that he was going to play deeper in midfield.
Which could look at this pass map and kind of say,
yeah, the pass map makes it look not as good as I thought when I watched the game.
Yeah.
When I watched the game, he looked like he was maybe he comes deep to get the ball, but like definitely when they attack, he seemed pretty high up.
I should add.
I was also surprised by how high up McAllister was, I should say.
Yeah, I should add though. This is a caveat. This was in the first half because the second half is like the change was made at halftime, right? This pass map is effectively the first half where I think Ipswich were the better team. So second half.
Yeah, like look, McAllister's on the left wing.
Yeah, so second half would have painted a different picture. I'm not sure what the second half pass map would have looked like, but Liverpool were the better team in that half, so that would have painted a slightly different picture. Maybe after game week 2, we might get like a better idea.
But definitely they want to play with 2-8s. You can see that.
Yeah.
You can very clearly see that. Like they want to play with 2 wingers, a forward, and 2-8s.
Yeah.
So
fair enough. All right. So from Liverpool, Trent and Salah are really good. After that, Szoboszlai probably makes it in there because of the minutes. But Jota also good, but not 90 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, Darwin will eventually take a
He
claim.
didn't get a single minute though. That's the thing.
Yeah. But I mean, eventually he will.
Fair enough.
He's kind of too good and offers too much to change the game, I think.
Is that or Gakpo becomes an option? I don't know.
I think Gakpo sucks in the middle, to be honest.
Ooh.
I think Gakpo's best position is left wing,
Yes.
and Diaz has that locked
Yep.
up most of the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. That's effectively it. So let's get to your team. So we weren't really. Or do you have anything else to add before we go?
No, I think no. Let's talk about teams.
Okay, so we weren't really clickbaiting on the title because you still do have the armband triple captaincy active on Haaland for the moment. So for
I would say I'm like no clickbait. I would say I'm probably like 60-40 in favor of doing it.
Okay, so for those listening on the audio, you got Pickford in goal, Robinson, Rico Lewis, Gabriel in defense, Jota, Saka, Nkunku, Bruno, Eze in midfield with Isak and Haaland up front. And on the bench, you've got the Brentford 4.0, Vald, as I would like to call because I'll butcher the name if I say anything else. Mazraoui, Ladapo, and Mosquera. Go ahead. Thoughts? You've used your one free transfer to get Quansah out to Rico Lewis.
Yeah, I mean I'm reasonably happy with my team.
Yeah.
I don't know. This Pickford fixture
It's a bit of a pain.
Maybe he gets some saves. That's all I'll say.
True. You never know, right? Like,
yeah.
Spurs
I'm reasonably happy with my team. A lot of players are playing away from home, which I don't love.
Yeah.
Is what it is. Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, it looks good for me for the moment. Yeah, I think Game Week 3 also your team. Yeah, Game Week 3 also the team looks pretty good, to be honest. Going forward. After that, we'll see how it goes, obviously.
I tried to pick a team that wasn't going to need an early wildcard.
Yes.
So if I end up early wildcarding, then I think the strategy hasn't worked.
Yeah, fair enough. We'll see. We will want to watch and see because your midfield is stacked though. A lot of people have like a very cheap midfielder, whereas you have like a very stacked. But I guess that's due to the not having of Salah.
Or Trent.
Or Trent, yes, that's true. That is true.
Yeah.
All right, let's move over. And this one is mine. So I got Henderson in goal, Porro, Robinson, and obviously Nico Williams, who has come in for Quansah. I got Salah, Rashford, Murphy, Nkunku, Havertz, Haaland, and Isak, with Flecken on the bench, Rogers, Lewis Hall, and Johnson as well on the bench. So my midfield isn't as great as yours. That's for sure.
I feel pretty good about having Rashford right now, though.
Yeah, I think like he should have had an assist if Garnacho finished the chance.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I don't mind actually having Rashford for the moment, to be honest. I'm still okay with it. Not a bad option, to be honest.
I think when Xerxes plays, I think he's great.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting to see. Hopefully, like the link-up play and everything will improve significantly.
Havertz is a real nice pick.
Yes.
Thought about it, didn't end up doing it.
But then you have Saka, so it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're independent of one another. I think Havertz is still a great pick.
Yeah.
Are you worried about him playing midfield?
No, I kind of expected him to play midfield. I was a bit more shocked that he started up front with Gabriel Jesus benched. Yeah. I was expecting like start in midfield, Jesus comes off, and then Havertz moves to forward line. That's what I was thinking.
Oh, okay. I was expecting the opposite. I thought he would get 50-60 at striker and then midfield.
Okay. So I was like, for me, it was like the other, and I was completely happy with that because I wanted an Arsenal attacker, like end of the day, because I think Arsenal will score goals. I wanted an Arsenal attacker. I'm happy I went with that pick. My front line, I'm kind of happy with. It's my midfield that could eventually change depending on how they perform. Yeah. So we'll wait and see what happens. And obviously waiting for Pedro Porro in terms of news from Pedro Porro. I'm going to take a few questions from the chat. One is from Dahlia Pool. Edison Son and Muniz, or Vicario, Foden, and Solanke? I would probably go with Ederson, Son, and Muniz.
Sorry, I'm trying to find the question.
Uh,
Was it Edison, Son, and Muniz,
yeah.
or Vicario, Foden, and Solanke? Oh, these are some punts.
Yeah, I probably if I had to pick Ederson, Son, and Muniz for me potentially.
Is Vicario 5
Yeah,
mil?
I think so. Oh, but Ederson is 5.5. No.
No, I don't like the first pick at all. I think
Yeah.
Son, we talked about it. So Muniz looks alright. Muniz
Yeah,
looks good.
Muniz
He'll
looks
probably
alright.
come good in the
Yeah.
good features.
Okay, maybe the second
Edison don't like at all. Son don't like. So I guess I would pick Vicario, Foden, and Solanke.
Yeah. The only thing was I didn't know
But
Foden's
I
minutes.
would
That's the only problem.
swap Vicario out for
Someone else, like even a Pope
Martinez.
or Martinez. Yeah, maybe Pope to be honest, or Martinez. Yeah, with the fixtures turning.
You know who is a good pick and who I should have got? I should have got Leno.
Yes, he's good pick.
Yeah.
And now with Anderson, one kind of improves even more.
Yeah.
Next
That was
one.
a sleeper pick.
Yeah. Will you do Hall to Lewis and bench Gabriel? Would you do that? No, probably not.
No, I mean not if I have Gabriel.
Yeah, I would just start Gabriel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't, it's not like Quansah where you're about to lose money.
Yeah. This is like unnecessary transfer, I would say. Foden and Porro or Trent and Havertz on a wild card?
Trent and Havertz.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah. That's a free hit team apparently. Those punts that with the Foden, Solanke, Vicario thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why is everyone so high on Foden this game week?
I think they expect him to start.
Oh, okay.
And also because it's not the early kickoff, but it's just the one after that, so there's a chance of City leaks.
Right.
Yeah. I think we answered the Hall to Lewis and bench Gabriel. We wouldn't do that. We would just start Gabriel instead and not do the transfer.
I would just play Gabriel.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as it looks.
Yeah. Are we going to be looking at West Ham or Chelsea assets for Game Week 2 and Game Week 3 if Guehi and Anderson leave Palace?
I think it's a little early for West Ham.
Yeah.
Personally. I think, Chelsea for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but at this moment,
and Anderson leave Palace.
I would keep the Chelsea players you have. For now, like if you have Nkunku, I keep Nkunku. I don't know if I'll go shopping for another one, unless like we said about Levi, like Colville. But I would want to see how Chelsea defend first before I even think about going for Colville. If you're going for 4 million defenders, who? 4 million defenders.
Greaves.
Yeah.
And
Greaves some Ipswich. Howard Bellis, maybe? I don't know.
I don't love the highly owned ones because something happens, they drop like a stone.
Okay. So maybe Greaves and
Yeah.
I don't know. You could just go
I don't
Moscow
know.
or something.
Don't have to.
Yeah,
just don't have to.
Just have one
Yeah.
4.0 if
Have one.
Yeah. Pedro or Nkunku? Oh, this is a good one. Pedro Porro or Nkunku? Who do you start?
Is it Pedro Porro or Joe Pedro?
If it's Pedro Porro, who would you start? If it's Joe Pedro, I would probably start Nkunku, potentially.
I would definitely start Nkunku over
Yeah.
Joe Pedro.
Yeah. If it's Pedro Porro?
Who are they playing again?
They are playing Everton, I believe. To go back. Oh, wrong one. Yeah, Everton.
This is pretty close. I would start Pedro Porro.
Yeah, fair enough. And then the final one from... Oh, this is Joao Pedro, apparently. Oh, no.
Pedro?
Then Nkunku. If it's Joao Pedro...
you know what?
Against United?
I'm going to take that back. Yeah, I mean, it's Brighton at home.
But it's Chelsea against Wolves. Oh, but yeah, Brighton at home. Yes.
Yeah, but I think Nkunku not on pens, Joe Pedro on pens, and
Yeah.
I think Nkunku probably another 70-minute game while they play him back into full fitness.
Yeah, but then you could say the same for Joe Pedro as well, like Welbeck.
Yeah, but he's playing 10.
Okay, fair.
Welbeck's definitely going to play 9.
Yeah.
Welbeck's, yeah. Pedro's playing 10.
Yeah.
And they signed a 10, though. They signed
Yeah.
Jorginho Ruta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Close one.
They signed a 10 who played for the manager before.
Okay.
So I think he will eventually lose his spot or lose minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm slightly edging it towards Nkunku, but that's purely because like of the Wolves fixture. But yeah, I don't know. It's a very close one. And then Doku for Nkunku. Ooh, if it's on a free hit, maybe. But I wouldn't make transfers.
No. I wouldn't sell Doku or buy Nkunku right now.
Yeah. All right. I guess that's it. Anything else to add, Karan, before we leave?
Dali, this is the last one. Dali Pool says Mosquera looked good for Wolves. I don't know if it was the same game.
If you want another second Wolves player, I guess. But like, I wouldn't go for 2 4.0s personally. But anyways, we'll see. Maybe the Aston Villa 4.0 comes good, but it's too early for 2 4.0s at the moment. Not enough information.
I think Welbeck's probably a sleeper pick, by the way.
Yes. For a forward spot. Him and Visa from Brentford.
Oh, we never talked about Mbuemo.
Yes.
Mbuemo is gonna become a pick real soon if Tony leaves.
The problem is Brentford's fixtures are it's a mixed bag at the moment. But come game week 6 when we wildcard, then potentially yes.
But even 5. 5 was good.
So 5, 6, 7, 8 even good against United. 9 like when we wildcard, definitely.
Yeah.
So
sure.
one to definitely watch. But yeah, that's basically it. Thank you all. Anything?
No, it's been a fun one. Thank you everyone for joining. Yeah.
Indeed. Thank you all for joining. Make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. We're aiming to get to now 850 subscribers. We passed the 800 mark as well. So hit the like, hit the subscribe. Thank you all for watching. And I will see you all for the deadline stream on the Saturday. Until then, have a good night or a good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And thank you and see you all later. Peace.